Way out there, in the silent, freezing darkness of the outer solar system, there's this object, just impossibly beautiful. From far away, Europa looks like a perfect pearl dropped onto black velvet. Seriously, it's the smoothest thing we've ever found in the universe. It looks so pure, so peaceful, almost like a sanctuary.
Yeah, but don't let that fool you, because in space, beauty is almost always a trap. If you could just snap your fingers and appear on the surface of Europa, you wouldn't find some peaceful winter wonderland. You'd find yourself dropped right into a nightmare. That serene dream is, in reality, a toxic, jagged hellscape. So what on earth makes this gorgeous world so incredibly deadly?
All right, let's peel back that beautiful outer layer. First up, we're going to dive into the deadly conditions that make Europa such a beautiful but absolutely lethal trap.
Okay, so for starters, the temperature on the surface is a bone-chilling -160°C. That's cold enough to make steel brittle enough to shatter. And you're not walking on smooth snow. This is water ice frozen as hard as granite and fractured into shards as sharp as broken glass. But honestly, the cold is the least of your problems. The real killer is this silent, invisible storm of radiation that is just constantly hammering the moon. An unprotected person would be cooked in mere minutes. So yeah, welcome to Europa, the most promising place to find alien life, and also the deadliest place to go looking for it.
So where is all of this lethal radiation even coming from? Well, to understand this hellscape, we have to look up at the absolute monster hanging in its sky, Jupiter.
20,000. That's how many times stronger Jupiter's magnetic field is compared to Earth. The gas giant spins so incredibly fast that it whips up this enormous magnetic cage around itself. But you know, a cage by itself isn't a weapon. It needs ammunition.
And this is where it gets really crazy. Think of it like a giant cosmic gun. The ammunition comes from Europa's volcanic little sibling, Io, which is just constantly vomiting tons of material out into space. Then, Jupiter's massive magnetic field acts like a particle accelerator. It grabs all those particles and whips them up to nearly the speed of light. And the target? Well, Europa's orbit is smack dab in the middle of this firing range, which means it's just getting constantly carpet bombed by these high-energy particles.
Now, this constant bombardment leads to one of the most hauntingly beautiful things in the whole solar system. You see, here on Earth, night is dark. But on Europa, the night side actually glows. The ice is getting hit so hard by charged particles that it creates its own light, this ghostly green or white glow. You could literally read a book by the light coming off the radioactive ground. It's like a visual warning that the surface is burning with an invisible fire.
And the ground itself is just completely broken. Scientists call these huge areas chaos terrain. The best way to picture it is to imagine a jigsaw puzzle the size of a continent that's been punched from underneath. All the pieces are shattered, twisted around, and then frozen back in place. This is our biggest clue that the ice shelf isn't just a dead, static block. It's alive. It's being cracked open from the inside by a huge, moving ocean of liquid water miles and miles below.
And this is where the story starts to shift. It's where this cosmic horror story begins to turn into one of cosmic hope. Because that hidden ocean, it might not just be a passive body of water. It might actually be fueled by the very same death that's raining down from above. I mean, when you think about all this lethal radiation and this thick, frozen crust, it's a fair question to ask, right? Is this incredibly promising world just a cosmic dead end? A beautiful but totally sterile tomb?
Well, not even close. And this brings us to the great paradox of Europa. That exact same radiation that makes the surface a complete graveyard is also the engine that creates a key ingredient for life, oxygen. You see, when those deadly particles slam into the ice, they split the water molecules apart, which creates free oxygen. The big question, though, is how does that oxygen get from the deadly surface down to the ocean below?
Well, scientists think there's a kind of planetary conveyor belt at work. Step 1, radiation makes all this oxygen on the surface. Step 2, the chaos terrain cracks open the ice shell. Then, and this is the amazing part, slabs of that oxygen-rich ice get pushed down, sinking into the depths. And finally, step 4, that oxygen gets delivered right to the hidden ocean, potentially feeding a whole ecosystem in the total darkness below.
For decades, this was all just an amazing theory. But now we're actually going to go look. Humanity has this incredibly daring plan to go and explore a world that pretty much eats spacecraft for breakfast.
Meet the Europa Clipper. Its mission plan is just brilliant.
Instead of trying to orbit Europa directly and getting absolutely fried, it's going to orbit Jupiter in this huge, wide loop. From there, it'll perform nearly 50 hit-and-run dives, screaming past the Moon as low as 25 kilometers up, just long enough to scan the ice and basically taste the atmosphere. Then, before the radiation can cook its sensitive electronics, it'll speed away to safety to beam all that precious data back home to us.
Which really just leaves us with this famous, chilling warning from Arthur C. Clarke. All these worlds are yours, except Europa. Attempt no landing there. You know, maybe he was right. Europa is like a treasure chest locked inside a nuclear reactor. It's a world where the surface will absolutely kill you, but the depths just might welcome you home. It's a silent reminder that out here, in our universe, the line between a paradise and a prison can be thinner than a sheet of ice.